bull or bear. And my old 1 ounce coin that I started this rolling deal with comes up a bull. Take it for what you want. 50-50 chance there. Good morning, and yes, I did say good morning. I am back to doing my morning shows somewhat more often, and beautiful morning it is. A little bit rainy here in Lauderdale by the Sea. Well, not raining here yet, but it seems like all around us. But the weather is quite beautiful. I think we've had a cold front move through here. I've got the live Deerfield cam. Got the live Miami coral cam up there. Not a lot of action. Before I spun the coin, I saw like dozens of fish, but they've kind of disappeared a little bit. And really, I just show these videos because for you South Florida folks here and my customers out there that live in South Florida, it's, you know, there's so many beautiful things down here, and I think we kind of lose sight of that sometimes. And particularly with the water, which is really Florida's biggest asset, is the water. There goes a friendly, pretty little fella, or lady, I guess. All right, to the quote of the day. And gold and silver are money. Everything else is credit. This is by the original OG, original gangster himself, J.P. Morgan himself. And he understood what money meant. He understood the difference between real money and fiat. And he understood that money is gold. Why? Well, it's hard to deny the fact it's been around for 5,000 plus years as money in exchange, and still is. It's coveted by central banks, the very same people that try to pawn off their fiat on you. It's coveted by J.P. Morgan's company now, you know, because they own large amounts of it through their crooked behavior in the last couple decades, working directly with the crooks in our Treasury Department and the crooks in the regulatory markets. So they are, again, the OG himself here created quite a mob. Or quite a criminal organization, and in my opinion, that's J.P. Morgan and their casino. One of their casinos being owned by not owned by J.P. Morgan, but certainly one of their biggest players as far as crooked players, I guess, in the game would be the the CME groups would be the casino for gold and silver. But anyways, I get ahead of myself here a little bit, trying to see where I was going with that, and I'm thinking to myself, oh God, I could skip off to that, or I skip off to that right now, go down another rabbit hole, or we can get to it later. We want to get to gold prices and silver prices right now. Silver showing really incredible strength, in my opinion. And gold getting whacked down in the criminal casino markets called the Crimex markets, gold market right now. We've always been used to seeing it in silver getting smacked down, but there is something underfoot with silver. I mean, you know, there's a 2481. I got to tell you too, I took a little vacay by myself last week, so I wasn't in on Friday. I didn't get a chance to see Friday's opening, closes, and prices. In fact, I didn't even look at a device. I went camping in one of our beautiful state parks here up in Sebastian Inlet, actually. Took a couple days and went up there, did some bicycle mountain. Well, yeah, I'm getting into my show and tell what I did for summer vacation, but a couple days, and I wasn't following markets. So when I left on Friday morning to do it, now again, I only went for 3 days or something like that. When I left on Friday morning, markets were getting hammered in the gold market. Silver was showing good strength, and it still is. So even at 2481, not quite sure again what it was on Friday. But gold getting whacked, and as I have said for a long time, where gold goes, silver will follow, okay? There's a lot of reasons that gold could be getting whacked. One of my suspicions, and I've said this a couple times, is gold is getting whacked to kind of subdue the price of silver. And, you know, there's no doubt where gold goes, silver inevitably follows, okay? So if gold starts trending upward dramatically, silver is going to kind of follow that trend eventually. I believe platinum as well. Not quite sure palladium, don't follow that market. And if gold trends, again, upward or downward, silver will eventually follow. However, I'm really, again, surprised at the strength of silver. Even with gold being smacked down, you'd figure you'd see silver more in the red, just as much in the red, because in the past when gold got smacked down, silver took a bigger hit, always. This is strange. This is strange behavior in the markets that we're seeing right now. Now, platinum is sub $1,100. I mean, where did we get $1,126, or was it higher than that or something? But the strength of platinum. And let me just jump off to another small rabbit hole, and I won't get too lost here, but if any of you that watch me for a length of time, I notice a pattern about a year ago or 2 years ago, but there was an ongoing pattern, and I kind of think it's kind of still trended today somewhere, somewhat, is that platinum for some reason started, when platinum started going into the red and going down in price, the other metals would eventually follow, and the same thing to the upside. Platinum, I mean, just could be completely coincidental, but I'm pretty good at picking out patterns you know, overlooking in a broad sense of things and seeing patterns. That's one thing I'm good at. I'm not good at up close details, but I'm good at seeing patterns from, you know, on a macro level. Would that be the correct term to use? That's a pattern that we saw last year, and we talked about in these videos quite, and it did follow through, where platinum went, gold and silver eventually followed. But is that true today? I'm not quite sure, and platinum is still showing pretty damn good strength, close to the $1,100 mark, considering that we're in the, you know, high eights, 900 for quite some time. Platinum was just, again, unloved metal. It's gotten some love lately because it has bumped up above the 1100 mark. And again, silver too. Silver showing a lot of good strength at that $25 mark, and gold getting hammered down. Now, I talk about gold and silver prices, right? These are not organic prices, folks. None of these prices are, as much as we'd like to discuss it. But we have to discuss something. We don't have any other pricing method to use. I can't show a different spot price from something else, because this is what the country uses, the crooked Crimex marketplace for prices. What I do on my videos here, and I'm not even into graphs anymore, because, you know, I think graphs, people use graphs to figure out, you know, cup and handles, double top formations, crosses and stuff like that. And I think in an organic real market, maybe you could use that. But in a market that's fixed and rigged, the people that use that are the people that are fixing and rigging the markets, all right? They're trying to manipulate silver and gold and these type of markets, and probably other markets as well, into double tops, into cup and handle formations. They do it through their trading practices. Ted Butler recently brought up a great way they do it through what he calls salami slicing, and I'll get into that in a moment. Where's my salami slicing? There we go. Mr. Ted Butler calls it salami slicing, and we'll take a look at the 24-hour charts. And again, another trend that I've seen, or way of manipulation I've seen, and he's exactly right. We've talked about this for years. They just slice it a little bit of time in the overnight markets and in the late evening before the close, or before the closes. But again, let's just take a look at where prices are now. Bargain basement levels, sub $2,000 gold, $25 silver, still a bargain. Platinum at this price is still a bargain. As far as ratios go, let's kind of see. I think that ratio's tightened up quite a bit. 1,979 divided by 25.12.
It's approximately 78.7818.
Wow, I'm kind of surprised, 78 to 1. And again, gold getting hammered down. Probably the reason silver hasn't exploded up to the $30 level right now, $27, $28, $30 level, is again the price of gold getting hammered. And believe me, gold going down is not anything to do with capitulation by investors. Well, physical gold. It has nothing to do with physical investors relinquishing their gold. It has nothing to do with central banks, some of the largest holders of physical gold, relinquishing. In fact, they're buying. Central banks are buying. Investors are buying physical. All right. This price right here has everything to do with the inorganic derivative paper markets in the criminal Crimex group called the CME silver. You know, CME COMEX silver and gold. All right, well, let me move on to what we were talking about, salami slicing, and what that really means. Oh, man, you know, that is the best asset that Kitco has. I'm sorry, okay, just in my opinion, all right? I need a spokesperson like that, really? You guys would just not even listen to me anymore, probably. Let me see here. Here's our spot prices overnight, and this is what we're talking about in salami slicing, is when they slice it to the downside like that. I mean, look at these overnight markets in gold. Now, that was probably, Friday? There's Sunday night. Yeah, that was Friday, all right, in the morning. There's Friday's gold prices. Bang, all right? And that's salami slicing, all right? It does recover. It does go up sometime. There's another salami slice. Exactly what does salami slicing look like there? Look, There it is. Get your visual there, because that's exactly what the criminals, the big commercials in the Crimex markets do. They slice it in the overnight markets. They slice it in the holidays. They slice it in thinly traded or during Fed speak, when the Fed's going to open their pie holes and say something worthless like they normally do. All right, so the overnight markets, again, salami slice, there's your salami slice, it recovers. But when you do that in these small slices, and the reason they do it in small slices in thinly traded markets and overnight markets is that's when they can get away with it and spend the least amount of money, the least amount of energy to knock the prices down. But if you do that multiple times during the week, and they got the muscle to do it, you're going to drive prices down on the short term, and that's exactly what we're seeing with gold. And again, Kitco's best asset is their charts, of course. That's what I was talking about, you folks. God, I guess you kind of misconstrued my thoughts there. 24-hour, oh, that's the gold price. There's our salami slices. Where's my silver salami slice? Psh, go figure. The chart looks almost identical as well. So they hit both of these markets at the exact same time. Silver recovers much better than gold stays in that 25. Am I looking at two gold prices? Yeah, I am. Jeez. See what happens when you get old? Kitco 24-hour silver chart. Just kind of see. Cancel. Don't redirect me. Kitco. All right, let me go backwards. And Kitco, sorry about that, should have had this prepared for you. What is this doing to me? See, it tells you how computer orientated I am. Kitco 24-hour silver chart. Let me open a new window, and I can do it there. Kitco 24-hour silver chart. They heard me talking about their spokesperson there. Hang on, there we go. Let's take a look and see when the salami slices happen with the silver market. And again, not too dissimilar, but silver strength much better than gold. Let's see, there's Friday's markets. Of course, it's about the same time as gold. They simultaneously, again, I was just talking about that, simultaneously smack it down. It rebounds quite well after that. They smack it down one more time, again, least amount of energy expended at that time to knock it down. And it kind of stays down for a little while, but stays in that $25 range. Again, really abnormal strength for silver. What does that mean? Maybe it'll get just killed this week. I don't know. There's nothing organic about these markets, folks. When you see these low prices, and I still think these prices are super low, it's just shenanigans on the crooked Crimex markets. And as I've said, it provides us the opportunity, whether it's gasoline, them keep, and of course, I'm sure that the gasoline markets and the oil markets have been rigged for years, and the Crimex markets, with a nod and the wink from the U.S. government and regulators, because, hey, it gives Americans cheap oil and it takes advantage of the rest of the world in the criminal Crimex markets, and that's where the low pricing occurs. That's why we had low oil prices for so long. None of us Americans are complaining about low oil prices. It's actually certainly benefited us. Think about that, the same thing with gold, in the criminal gold and silver markets, that that it benefits us. It gives us the ability to buy this stuff on the super cheap. And folks, I still think it's on the super cheap. But like I said a dozen times already, silver, some really good strength in that. All right, well, what does matter to the price of gold and ultimately to the price of silver? Because again, where gold goes, silver will follow. What does matter? Certainly not the dollar index. And again, when the dollar index is up, the crooks, the criminals that control the price structure in the COMEX silver and gold markets, they use the dollar strength up to knock down the gold and silver markets. Okay, they go in there and they salami slice it, just like I showed you earlier. And people say, well, of course the dollar's up, and that would make reasonable sense. That's why gold is down. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. The dollar index has nothing to do with the price of gold per se. The dollar index is simply not how much food you can buy. It's not based on what you can buy. The dollar index is a comparison of other currencies, which, again, the last horse to the glue factory race, that kind of deal. The dollar is just compared, the DXY is just a comparison to the other turds out there that are losing value daily as well. Has nothing to do with the important chart that you need to look at if you buy gold and silver platinum, which is this: the consumer price index for urban consumers, purchasing power of the consumer dollar. And most of you guys know I've done this chart so many frickin' times. Take a look at this over the last year. This is the current drug-addled, mindless piece of crap we have running this country right now, and the party that supports that idiot. And again, I'm not much fonder of the prior. I'm going to lose every viewer I have out there. I'm not too fond of the prior guy that was there as well before this current, I don't know, mindless old bastard, crooked thieving bastard that's in here. The guy before him wasn't much more conservative. Had really, I don't think, had much thought or is smart enough to understand fiat currency. I got to be honest with you, I don't. You know, as popular as the last guy was, you know, he was not anything but fiscally conservative. Okay, but I digress. And he was anything but. He was pro-Fed. The last president was pro-Fed. This current president, well, I don't even think he knows who the Fed is now. Like I said, drug-addled, senile piece of crap. He'd always been a piece of crap. But the last guy, I think, was just inept for the job. I just think that, oh boy, I just went off in politics. I'm sorry. But I guess, you know, out of my opinion, out of the lesser of the two evils, I think I'd have to go with the last guy compared to this guy. He would have been the lesser of the two evils. But presidential material, no. Conservative, no. You know, and again, this guy is currently even worse. But neither of them, and none of the administrations for decades have paid attention. The only guy out there that's paid attention to this chart is Ron Paul. I didn't even hear Rand talking about it much anymore. Ron Paul was the only guy talking about this chart and what was happening with fiat. He understood that. But I don't want to turn this into a political thing because it kind of just became that. Sorry about that. I'm down to one viewer now. But anyways, let me move along here. I seldom kind of go into that thing and talk about something that we were just talking about, where gold goes, silver will follow. Ted Butler's recent article, and by the way, if you don't know who Ted Butler is, you definitely need to read his articles because as far as the silver manipulation that's been going on in the Crimex markets for 40 years, this guy is the master. He is the OG of detectives. OG, original gangster detective. I don't know if that works, but he's the old school detective, you know, Joe Friday. He's the Joe Friday of discovering who rigs and how they rig the silver markets, all right? And he has a subscription service, about $30 a month, worth it if you have enough silver or you really want to know about this stuff. But Ted says here, the unfortunate thing is that with gold market structure generally bearish and subject to commercial price rigging to the downside, such gold price weakness, should it occur, could be used to pressure silver prices. Something, that, like I said, that we've talked about for quite some time. I haven't heard really Ted talk about this a couple times recently, but you know, he knows that. He's smarter than I am. But he brings it up here, something we've been talking about, especially given the sharp increase in managed money technical longs of late. What's bad about it, it forces me to be more wishy-washy about silver prospects in the short term. I would agree. Because again, I've said it for a long time, years. Where gold goes, silver will eventually follow, especially in, you know, longer term movements. Again, this being the exception, because the strength in silver compared to gold right now is surprising the hell out of me. I don't think I've seen this. I don't think I've ever seen this kind of behavior, quite honestly, where we've seen silver kind of maintain and gold not. And I think it has everything to do about the shortages that we've been talking about, the silver shortages. But I digress. Something I try to avoid, Ted says, even if I'm on target about the extreme bullish price prospects for silver, if my take on what occurred with the big four commercial shorts is correct, there's nothing to suggest that these big commercial shorts won't seek to lower their already low short position through lower prices. And again, Ted's talking about the short positions that the banks have that they want to exit. And if they can exit them with zero repercussions legally and zero repercussions regulatory-wise, which they're, you know, again, they got full reign. They're the crooks out there, in my opinion, and they will. It seems that Ted says they want to just relieve themselves of these short positions with as little loss as possible, zero loss, maybe even make a few bucks, because they know they're not going to get charged. Too big to fail, too big to jail. But here, let me move along here. It's so easy to go down rabbit holes. I'm sorry. What's most ironic is that the bullish as the market structure developments were in silver this week, if my take was correct, that while it is a strong guarantee of higher silver prices eventually, perhaps not necessarily in the short term, however, considering the clear signs of developing physical silver shortage and still near unbelievable low price of silver, any thought of abandoning a long-term position of silver is the same for me as it's been for quite some time, namely unthinkable. Kudos, Ted, 100% with you there. And again, Ted Butler newsletter, Butler Research, highly recommend that you subscribe to that. And if you don't, go and read his free articles on his website and the other stuff he's written for SilverSeek and other places out there. Okay, an article that caught my attention here a little bit. Fire and rain show California still has plenty of gold to discover. Now, what does fire and rain have to do with gold and silver? Well, the fire took out a lot of roots and trees that held the soil together, and the rain caused the soil to come down the mountains pretty fast and create major flooding. What has this done? This has brought up major nuggets of gold and lots of gold in California. I mean, the guys out there panning, those guys that you thought were crazy for years, going out there getting a couple bucks worth of gold a week, are now panning thousands of dollars worth of gold. Now, does this mean there's a new gold rush? No. Easy gold eventually goes away really quick. So that kind of gold will get picked up fast, but I'm sure there's still a lot of it there. But it got me to thinking here, and I asked, I was thinking, but how much gold is on public lands? How much, because the U.S. government owns huge, vast reserves of public lands. And then it kind of occurred to me, there's another video YouTuber out there, I forget what his name is, doesn't he talk about gold being in the Grand Canyon or something like that? I'm not quite sure what kind of gold he's talking about, but there's some thought behind that. There's some truth behind this. And it got me to thinking, well, here, let me ask AI something. And remember, AI, garbage in, garbage out, doesn't mean it's true. It just derives data information faster than I can find it on the internet. So I asked, according to geological surveys, how much gold exists in the United States? I'm going to get a sip of coffee here, folks, before I... ready? AI answers me. There is no definitive answer to how much gold exists in the United States, as geological surveys and estimates can vary widely. Okay, I accept that. However, the United States Geological Survey provides data on estimated gold reserves in the country. And these guys are scientists, and I trust scientists for the most part, especially geological type scientists. They got no reason to lie. Rocks don't lie. Rocks have no political purpose. So if you wonder what I'm talking about, it doesn't take long to get there. According to the USGS, as of 2021, the total estimated gold reserves in the United States are approximately 3,000 metric tons. The largest gold reserve are found in Nevada, which is responsible for over 75% of gold production in this country. Other significant gold-producing states include Alaska, Colorado, and California. It's worth noting that these estimates are based on known deposits and mining. There may be additional blah, blah, blah. So what the information that was quickly collected for me so I could do this video and I didn't have to go out searching for it myself, is that we got 3,000 metric tons according to government surveys, all right, by scientists. Scientists that have no reason to lie, I don't think. Okay, so I asked, convert 3,000 metric tons to troy ounces, because metric tons just don't work in my head. I'm a troy ounce guy. So it shows me how to do that, which obviously I didn't pay attention to because I still don't know. And but it gives me the answer down here: 3,000 metric tons of gold that's in our country, supposedly by geological surveys, and it could be double that. But I guess conservatively figured, we have 96,452,240 ounces of gold. Now, again, that's just probably a round figure, 3,000 metric tons. So my next thought was, okay, that's a lot of ounces, 96 million ounces, okay? What country holds the largest amount of gold in its treasury? Now, I know you can look this up if you want real quick, but think for yourself. Well, obviously it's the United States, but how much? How many millions of ounces does the United States hold? Most of it know it in tons, some of us do. And here we go, 8,134 tons, but what does that equal? 261 million troy ounces is what we hold. Let's see, 261 million troy ounces of gold reserve, according to, oh my gosh, 3,000 is equivalent to 96 million tons. So how much can we add there? Give me 1 second here. Of gold reserves at 2021 according, wow, that's a lot of gold actually. 200, had to wrap my head around this one, folks. That kind of got me there, right there. And what could we actually get? We could add another 96 million tons according to geological surveys right here. And what would 96 million tons do? But with our current gold, here's what my thought was, all right? And I should have asked what our current, I should have figured in our gold holdings here of 200 and, or I hope we still own that, 261 million ounces of gold that we supposedly own in Fort Knox, all right? 8,000 tons, which is about 3 times of what it says that we hold in our mountains. And I kind of feel that we have a lot more than 3,000 metric tons of gold in our hills out there. I'm sure it's a lot more than that, actually, folks. But anyway, let's move along here. And I got lost in my math there. Give me 1 second. How many ounces of gold would it take to pay off the U.S. debt? That's my next obvious question. As of April 2023, the United States gold debt stands at around 29 trillion. To estimate how many ounces of gold it would take to pay off the debt, we need to make some assumptions. And here's our assumptions down there. Using these assumptions, we can estimate it would take approximately 16 trillion billion 292,134 ounces of gold to pay off the U.S. at the current price of, anyways, not even doable with our gold. However, it's important to note this is purely hypothetical calculation, all right? And I said use the price of $2,000 gold, which is a little bit higher, and it would take 14,500,000,000. Is that correct? 14,500,000. My gosh, that's just unfathomable. 14,500,000,000. Oh my God, I can't. 500 billion. What? Oh gosh, just 14 trillion. Those numbers are incomprehensible to pay off the U.S. national debt of around 10 to 29 trillion. However, it's important to note this is still purely hypothetical. So I said, if the U.S. scaled down its spending dramatically by half or more, could the United States pay off its current debt and run the country using its natural resources like gold, silver, metals, and oil without acquiring debt? Scaling down spending by more than half could certainly help them. All right, where was I going with this? What I was thinking about is, folks, we have a vast natural resource out. Now, gold certainly wouldn't cover it all, but between gold, silver, and oil that's on federal lands, why wouldn't the federal government, first off, if I was president and king of the country, I would immediately open up federal lands to some kind of safe, environmentally safe mining that I could possibly open it up to. I would take the gold, silver, and platinum, oil, and other metals out of this country's federal lands to pay for the government spending. And the other thing I would do is reduce government spending dramatically here. But it occurred to me that, again, we have a vast amount of resources in federal lands out there, not just the federal lands themselves, but the mining resources and all, and the potential of selling federal lands as well for property, you know what I mean? We just got so much money out there, and what are we doing with it? We're just letting it sit there for no reason. Does that make any sense to you? Are they just trying to break this country, especially considering that, you know, the rest of the world, Russia, China, are moving more to a commodity-based type, you know, trade system, a currency based on commodity trade. In the United States, we're still stuck in the fiat stage. We still haven't figured out that our most important assets are not our central bank, the dollar. Our most important assets are the American people, its work ethic, our Constitution, and the natural resources that this great country has, all right? Well, anyways, I think that, well, I went down a lot of rabbit holes there, man. Good article, Fire and Rain show California still has plenty of gold. And this country is just still rich in resources, folks. We've just never explored them. And when we have in the past, we've done it irresponsibly, I've got to admit. Mining in the past has been irresponsible, but I would imagine that, again, even maybe states could run their entire, you know, run everything off gold that they mined, you know what I mean, or metals that they mine, or resources that they mine. They do it through taxes. What do you think taxes are? It's mining people. Taxes is mining the working people for their money. Instead of actually going out and doing the real work, mining, they're mining the people that, you know, the guy that's digging the holes at the mine, all right? So they're mining. Why not go out and do real mining when you own these vast resources that states and federal governments do? All right, I jumped down giant rabbit holes, and again, for my environmentalist friends out there, I'm a big environmentalist guy. I believe there's responsible ways to do everything. That includes taking advantage of the natural resources that we have. In a responsible way. All right, Resentment of Dollars Dominance is old hat. Some good articles on gata.org. If you don't subscribe to them, I highly recommend you do. Some good stuff out there. And what does strong gold say about the weak dollar? Well, we talked about that here. And Zimbabwe, why would they plan? Well, gold-backed digital currency, that's interesting. You know, it's funny. It's interesting. Gold-backed. All right, what does that mean exactly? But if it was gold-backed, and it indeed was a legit gold-backed digital currency that was anonymous, Zimbabwe could end up being the Switzerland of Africa. Quite frankly, if you think about it. You know, I'm wondering why that there's no big banking entities in Africa. They have, speaking of vast resources, man, those countries are just, Africa's an amazing country for resources, unexplored. They're mostly been taken advantage of by other empires like ourselves, but you know, that's what we do best. Well, I don't want to say we're parasites. We're kind of, the United States is not just we're not just parasitic off the commodities and money of other people. We're also predatory as well, as proven in the last couple decades where we just outright became predators, you know, i.e. dollar sanctions and weaponizing the dollar, blah, blah, blah. All right. Man, so many rabbit holes in this video here, so many political things. I think I'm down to maybe 2 of you guys listening now. So let's get into what the best deals are and what the best deals aren't out there. Best deals are not Silver Eagles. The best deals are still not 90% silver. Love those products, just the premiums are stupid crazy. In fact, I've been telling you guys out there, you want to make some money, you want to have some extra silver in your stash, trade your Silver Eagles and your 90% for 1 ounce, 10 ounce, or kilo, or 100 ounce silver bars. You can put more silver in your pocket and take advantage of these stupid premiums that these products are buying. And some folks are going to say, oh, well, that's just because you dealers want to own them. Hell no, I don't want to own these overpriced things. I don't. I got rid of all mine. I'm trade. Believe it or not, when we get Silver Eagles in large amounts, people sell them to us, I immediately trade them for generics when the premium spread gets this big, because I put more silver in the company's pocket that way. Again, best deals out there, 100 ounce bars, 10 ounce bars, and 1 ounce bars. And who has the best deal in South Florida? Here comes my advertising. Commercial rare coins and precious metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. We got the best deals in South Florida. So if you live in South Florida, you can visit our brick and mortar store here, 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. I'll show you our address and all that stuff at the end of the video. If you're not familiar with us, we advertise to beat Atmex, SD, and JM Bullion. So folks, if you live in South Florida, visit us. You don't need to order online. We'll beat the online guys, and we'll beat the locals as well. And if you don't live in South Florida, unfortunately, we limit our sales to telephone sales, and you have to buy at least 100 ounces of gold, more than 1,500 ounces of silver for us to be able to do business with you. Again, we're not set up like SD, JM, and Atmex to do small sales. So if you don't live in the state of Florida and you can't meet our minimums here for shipping, definitely find yourself a good local dealer. I can't stress how important good local dealers are, and for keeping that money local as well. For example, my customers spend money here. My employees, you know, it pays for their kids, it pays for their, you know, their living. They spend that money in this local Lauderdale by the Sea, Broward community, and the same thing with you guys. You know, always avoid buying online unless you absolutely have to. Support your local merchants, folks. And again, thanks for listening to my advertising here. I'm going to get into gold. What's the best deals in gold out there? Well, they are certainly not. Well, you know, I was just going to diss Gold Eagles, but you know what? Where gold's at, I don't think it's unreasonable anymore to be, you know, $125 premium on Gold Eagles. But what's a better deal than 1 ounce Gold Eagles for $125 over is 1 ounce gold bars. Okay, you can still pick gold bars up for spot plus 73 bucks. Unlike silver, the premiums are still reasonable in gold. Why is that? Because there is a silver shortage. There is not a gold shortage out there. There is a huge silver shortage out there. And when some of you guys are going to listen to me say, "Silver, there's plenty of silver. Atmex has silver. JM, you have silver. How can be?" No, I'm talking about large amounts of silver available for sale, not large amounts of silver not available for sale in investors' hands, or large amounts of silver not available for sale by manufacturers that need to use it, but available silver. There's a huge shortage of available silver. That's why we're seeing huge premiums in silver. That's also probably why we're seeing silver prices maintaining as well as they are. Because at some point, the crooked Crimex market's going to break because they fucking broke it. Excuse my language. There we go. Lost my last viewer there. Hey, I'd like to thank everybody for watching last week's video, Thursday's video, I think it was, because I was on vacation on Friday, and Saturday and Sunday up at beautiful Sebastian Stadium Park, fishing, mountain biking, all kinds of cool stuff I was doing. They have some great bike trails, by the way, up there. You got to find them, though. You'd go right past them. You wouldn't see them if you didn't know they were there, but some beautiful trails up there. Again, here I go off into my nature shows. I'd like to thank everyone for watching U.S. Men is Out of Silver last week, another high view video, which surprised me. You know, I'm used to my low views and my small audience here. 120 commenters. I'm going to go through here and see if I can maybe answer a few questions, and it makes me feel bad because part of my videos for a long time were being able to answer all your questions out there. Now it's just getting so overwhelming. I could do an entire 2-hour video answering questions on some of these high count videos. And again, I can't mention everyone's names here, but you know who you are. And here, your thoughts. When you agree that constant silver becomes possible to find or impossible to buy, that is a key start of a deepening. Yeah, I would agree. I would think that's true. You know, you got some point there. Gold and silver would have gone insane had they not introduced cryptos. I think it would have generated more dollars into the gold and silver market. But you got to remember, cryptos are, compared to gold market, is, I believe, very small. Or am I wrong? Well, compared to Bitcoin, I guess the gold, it's a very small market, even smaller market. Easier to manipulate, in my opinion, as well. And they know you have it. Clayton, there's nothing anonymous about cryptos, nothing. It's a great way to display your wealth. 71 views, but only 8 thumbs up. Come on, man. Yeah, C7. Well, I went to 20. Thanks, Clayton. Matthew, Joe, what's up? Jigsaw Jazz, thanks for that information. JP, shortage silver wouldn't supply and demand cause the price to increase. Yep, that's exactly what would happen in an honest organic marketplace, but we are not in an organic marketplace. We are in an inorganic, crooked marketplace that's broken. And that brokenness is going to cause prices to skyrocket at some point when people need the real stuff. Yeah, you're right about that. Single and looking, what a joke. U.S. men out of silver and never bought anything from them. Yep. Again, I want to answer every one of you. I'm going to look for some more specific questions. Gnarly Silver, what's up? Rike, Christina, hey. And she was right about platinum. Slim, what's going on? I think it has some degree. Christopher McCormick, PJ, Mike, I appreciate your answer. Do you think there's a bigger play at U.S. Mint? Their stated. I think that the U.S. Mint has been told by the Treasury Department and the U.S. government to stop producing silver eagles because they were sucking away so much silver, and there is a huge silver shortage. Not a shortage of silver in the world, like it all disappeared, but a lot of it is in landfills, but a silver shortage of available silver for sale. There is. Thanks, PJ. David says, so 500 resaleable American silvers have a premium of a little over $4 each. Meanwhile, if my lovely rounds or bars fetch only spot, I'm still further ahead. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell everyone, but sometimes people get a little antsy. You know, if you own silver eagles, you don't want to hear anyone dissing them, but I'm not dissing silver eagles. I'm just dissing the premium. Hey, Wellco, designed by G. Yep, can't argue with that. Mace, trust time for correction while major trend is bullish next year to pull back. Mace, I think you got something there. If you, 4 days though, yeah, I think we might see a pullback, but it has nothing to do with honest organic markets. It has nothing to do with charts. It has everything to do with crooks that use charts to manipulate markets. I put that much better. Thanks, Mace, appreciate it. Oregon Matrix, making but holding supply some unknown. I don't think they're holding any supply at all. I don't think they're making them. I think they're just not producing them because they were sucking up too much silver out of the market, which would have caused the OG, the gangsters, the mob, CME Group, and JP lots of money, and the other banks. Michael, just found my channel, bro. What's up, dude? And have to say I really like the way you talk Franklin Point. Thank you, I appreciate that. And keep stacking, dude. Trusted silver, I'm only going to say this too much price on silver, not high because a minute is stockpiling plants, the price of silver goes. I'd be interested to know if you got data on that, let me know. Or if you got any kind of information where I can read that the mint is stockpiling planches. I'd be curious to hear that. Angela says blah, 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 and more blah. Well, Angela, I bet you never even made it this far into the video. So, yeah, that's why, hey, listen, different folks, different strokes. In fact, you actually made it through the video enough to say blah, 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 and more blah. So, I don't know, man. He does protest too much. 6 acres, unless you need $1. I mean, holding, more people, yeah, more people are holding and buying physical. That's why I say these markets, there's nothing natural about prices going down because there is no organic selling out there. Just paper derivatives and nonsense. How can a person be safe when society fails? Hey, yeah, I agree. Tree Climber, what's up, dude? USW sucks. What's up? WR, wow, man, lots of, thank you guys. I appreciate that. And I encourage you guys to speak to each other as well. There's a lot of wealth of information amongst all you folks that listen to me that you guys can share with each other. And Jason, Zipper, the Starseed, a lot of new faces out here. Kenneth Dason, Tom Jones. I like your music, dude. Ron Okadorit, Colleen Ferris, Awakened to... oh, man. It's... oh, gosh. I am... Transdog, another new commenter there. William. And, folks, I'm going to have to kind of scan through this real quick because this could make these videos real long. Mark Hasley, the last commenter on here. I'll always try to do the last commenter as well. When this man says there's a shortage, I believe, well, thanks. That's kind of exactly what we're talking about here as well. There is a shortage. Thank you for saying believe me. Appreciate you commenting, Mark, and the rest of you as well. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. That little bell up in the corner will let you know when my new videos come out. And that's it. You can also catch me out here on Twitter. I've been on here for a long time, but never really use it. Starting to use it now, seeing a few of you folks out there asking me questions. You can find me as Brian Kuzmar, not under the company name, but at Brian Kuzmar. And you can pause there. And again, friend me up here. Happy to answer questions. Gosh, it's easier for me to answer questions on Twitter now, way easier than it is YouTube, unfortunately. Man, I'm kind of going to miss being able to answer everyone's questions on YouTube if this video channel starts exploding. There's an advantage to being small, I guess. Rumble. Hey, you can catch me out here as well if you don't catch me on this particular channel because I said something they didn't like. And yeah, that's the kind of world we live in, folks. But you know, you got to speak up about it, and I do in a roundabout way. I speak in parables, not to get myself in trouble. That's it, folks. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. If you live in South Florida, I've been doing this since 1977. My father, second generation rare coin precious metal dealer, paper money and other things as well. So if you live in South Florida, come and see us 10 to 4 Monday through Friday at our brick and mortar store here in Lauderdale by the Sea. Our address is down here. There's a picture of our store. And if you're buying anywhere from $1 worth to millions of dollars worth of gold, silver, and platinum, and I did say millions, we do big sales here as well. Tiny little place, but the reason I can be so competitive is because I've never expanded this place too big. It costs me sometimes because we're busy as hell and the place is way too small, but hey, listen, it allows me to stay competitive with the big boys out there because they can't beat my prices, and I can certainly beat theirs. All right, that's it. And if you don't live in South Florida, like I said, and you're not buying more than 100 ounces of gold and 1,500 ounces of silver, because if you are buying and you live outside of South Florida, you don't have a good local coin dealer, I can ship to you. Just call us at conciergebullion.com. I know I'm bringing back Concierge again, and Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals, and we can ship you more than 100 ounces of gold, more than 1,500 ounces of silver, using bank wires and trusted forms of shipping, secure shipping. Again, if you can't buy that amount from me, and you don't live in South Florida, and you can't visit our brick and mortar store, please, 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 before you order online, find yourself a good local dealer. Please. Keep that money local if you can. That's it, folks. Have yourself a wonderful day, and let's see what happens tomorrow. Bye now.